What are the least expensive cars to maintain and repair? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Help Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. I'm going to share the vehicles that have the lowest maintenance and repair costs over the first 10 years of ownership and have the lowest chance of requiring a major repair. This data comes from CarEdge, and I'm also going to share which vehicles are the total opposite and have the highest maintenance and repair costs. But first, let's start with the best ones that have the lowest 10-year cost of ownership, starting with one of the most popular categories, which is compact SUVs. And the winner for this category is the Toyota RAV4. According to CarEdge, the Toyota RAV4 costs an average of $5,531 in maintenance and repairs over the first 10 years of ownership. This beats the industry average of popular SUVs by $3,602. And there is only a 16% chance that the RAV4 will require a serious repair during this time. The runner-up compact SUV by quite some distance were the Honda HR-V and the Honda CR-V. CarEdge predicts a 10-year cost of maintenance and repairs to be $6,983 for the HR-V and $7,155 for the CR-V, and both have a 21% chance of requiring a serious repair during that time. And as for the worst compact SUV that has the highest ownership cost, well, that would be the Jeep Compass. According to CarEdge, the Compass costs an average of $10,031 in maintenance and repairs over the first 10 years of ownership, nearly double the RAV4. It also has a 31% chance of requiring serious repairs during that time. Both the Jeep Cherokee and the Renegade, which are no longer sold brand new in North America, had more or less the same results. Other poor performers include the Ford Escape and the Chevy Equinox, both costing around $8,700 in maintenance and repairs over the first 10 years, and with a 26% chance of requiring serious repairs during that time. I can't say that these results are that surprising. The Toyota RAV4 has been a very highly recommended SUV of mine for a number of years, and its reputation for reliability is among the very best. The domestic brands, on the other hand, are a different story. So remember, even if you get a great deal on one and save money on the purchase price, there is a higher chance that it could end up costing you far more in the long run. And now let's take a look at the next popular category, which is mid-sized SUVs. And the winner for this category is the Toyota Highlander. The Highlander costs an average of $5,771 in maintenance and repairs over the first 10 years of ownership. Incredibly, not that much more than the RAV4. And this beats the industry average by $3,362. And just like the RAV4, there is only a 16% chance that the Highlander will require serious repairs during that time. The runner-up mid-sized SUV just behind the Highlander is another Toyota, which is the 4Runner, which achieved more or less the exact same results. And although it's not an SUV, it is worth noting that the Sienna, Toyota's popular minivan, achieves similar numbers to the Highlander and 4Runner as well. The next best mid-sized SUVs from another brand were the Honda Passport and the Honda Pilot. Both fared more or less the same, costing around $7,300 in maintenance and repairs over the first 10 years, with a 21% chance of requiring serious repairs during that time. And as for the worst mid-sized SUV, well, that would be another Jeep. The Jeep Grand Cherokee, to be exact, which will cost $10,484 for maintenance and repairs over the first 10 years, with a 31% chance of requiring serious repairs, more or less double the numbers of the Highlander. The next worst mid-sized SUV right behind the Grand Cherokee is the Dodge Durango, which had very similar numbers. And since I mentioned the best minivan was the Sienna, I should also mention the worst minivan is the Chrysler Pacifica, again achieving more or less the same numbers as the Dodge and the Jeep, which makes that 3 for 3 for Stellantis. The next worst mid-sized SUV from a non-Stellantis brand is the Ford Explorer, which is not quite as bad but still not great, requiring $9,017 in maintenance and repairs, with a 27% chance of requiring serious repairs over the first 10 years of ownership. Again, the major takeaway here is don't be fooled by flashy discounts and deals, which are often pretty common with these particular brands, especially Stellantis vehicles. Even if you think you're getting a great deal on the price, that doesn't mean a whole lot in the long run if it ends up costing you a lot more in repairs, depreciation, and other operating costs. So it really is the false sense of a win. Okay, now let's move away from SUVs for a little bit and now go on to regular cars. And the winner for the best mid-size car is the Toyota Camry. The Camry costs an average of only $4,203 in maintenance and repairs over the first 10 years of ownership, far lower than any SUV. And this beats the industry average by $2,893, and there is only a 12% chance that the Camry will require serious repairs during this time. The Camry was also rated as the most reliable midsize car by Consumer Reports, and most likely to reach 200,000 miles or 320,000 kilometers trouble-free. So there is consensus on this one. The next best midsize sedan after the Camry is the Honda Accord, which costs around $5,412 for maintenance and repairs over 10 years, and has a 16% chance of requiring serious repairs during that time. The worst midsize sedan is the Dodge Charger, which costs $7,809 for maintenance and repairs over 10 years, and has a 23% chance of requiring serious repairs during that time. And not far behind the Charger is the Chrysler 300, which didn't do too much better. So once again, Stellantis has earned its place at the bottom of the pack. And now let's take a look at compact cars and hatchbacks, which had the lowest 10-year cost of ownership of any vehicle category by far. And the winner, or the winners I should say, for this category are the Toyota Corolla and the Toyota Prius. The Corolla is expected to only cost $4,087 in maintenance and repairs over the first 10 years of ownership, and the Prius did slightly better, only costing $4,008. Both beat the industry average by a huge margin, and both only have an 11% chance of requiring serious repairs during the first 10 years. What's interesting about this comparison is that the Prius is a hybrid, which shows that hybrids don't necessarily cost any more to maintain or repair, which means that the money you're saving on gas is not being offset in other ways. The next best compact car, which still did quite well, is the Honda Civic, which has a 10-year cost of $5,245 for maintenance and repairs, and only has a 16% chance of requiring serious repairs. And as for the worst compact cars, well, fortunately for Stellantis, they don't make any compact cars, so they are spared for this one. But the worst compact car goes to the Chevy Trax. Incredibly, the Trax's maintenance and repair costs over the first 10 years of ownership is $8,512, more than double that of the Corolla or Prius. And it has a 26% chance of requiring serious repairs during that time. Not far behind the Trax was the Kia Rio, which had very similar numbers, but is worth mentioning that it's no longer sold brand new. And what about trucks? Well, this category had the biggest contrast between the best and the worst performers, and the winners that had the lowest cost of ownership over 10 years were the Toyota Tacoma and the Toyota Tundra. These trucks cost about $6,300 and $6,700 for maintenance and repairs in the first 10 years, which is incredibly low for trucks. And at the total opposite end of the spectrum, we have the Ram 1500. The Ram costs $17,677 in maintenance and repairs over the first 10 years, and CarEdge gives it a 55% chance of requiring serious repairs during that time. Pretty dismal. In fact, the Ram 1500 performed so poorly that its numbers more or less match that of a lot of high-end luxury vehicles. Some of the most expensive luxury vehicles in terms of maintenance and repairs include the Land Rover Range Rover with a 10-year cost of $18,228 and a 50% chance of needing serious repairs. Then we have the BMW X5 and X7 with a 10-year cost of $18,389 and $18,550, both with a 55% chance of needing serious repairs. And the most expensive ones of all are the Porsche Macan and the Porsche Cayenne. Both of these SUVs have a 10-year cost that tops $20,000, and both have a 60% chance of requiring serious repairs in that time. European luxury vehicles are expensive to repair and maintain, there's no question about that, and that's something I've repeated consistently in many of my videos. Which means that if you are considering any of these vehicles, leasing is the safest way to go. And if you want a luxury vehicle that you can keep for the long run that's not going to cost you a fortune to maintain and repair, well, that would be Lexus. Out of all luxury SUVs, the Lexus NX and the Lexus RX have the lowest cost for maintenance and repairs over 10 years, at $7,100 and $7,400. And both were given a 20% chance of requiring serious repairs in that time. The best Lexus overall, however, is the Lexus ES350 and ES300H, which cost around $5,500 in maintenance and repairs over 10 years, and only have a 15% chance of requiring serious repairs. That's not too surprising to see, considering that Lexus has consistently been the industry leader when it comes to reliability. What is more surprising, however, is that CarEdge does predict that there is one other luxury brand that will have a lower 10-year cost of ownership than Lexus, and that brand is Tesla. Now, this data is partly based on predictive modeling because Tesla's two most popular vehicles, the Model Y and the Model 3, have not been around for 10 years yet. But the Model S has, and according to CarEdge, costs $4,566 for maintenance and repairs over 10 years, and only has a 9% chance of requiring major repairs in that time. Based on this, CarEdge does predict a very similar 10-year ownership cost for both the Model Y and the Model 3, with the Model 3 predicted to be the lowest overall. I know this is a controversial one, but it does somewhat make sense when you consider that Teslas don't require a lot of the traditional maintenance items, including oil changes, belts, spark plugs, or rarely even brakes. The most serious and potentially costly repair item is of course the battery and the drive motor, but these are covered by an 8-year warranty, and major failures out of warranty are proving to be quite rare so far. The most common complaints with older Teslas are general build quality issues with the interior and the exterior, which often have nothing to do with how the vehicle operates. So what exactly is the major takeaway in all of this? Well, I think it's pretty safe to say which brands come at the very top and the very bottom when it comes to overall operating costs. Toyota and Honda are the clear winners among mainstream brands, and Stellantis brands, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram are all dead last. And among luxury brands, Lexus comes out on top, unless you count Tesla as a luxury brand, and the very bottom of the pack is occupied by European brands like BMW, Land Rover, and Porsche. And if you want to have the lowest cost of ownership possible, going with a smaller vehicle like a regular mid-sized sedan, or better yet, a compact sedan or a hatchback, will lower your operating costs significantly when compared to a larger SUV. Now, before I get accused of getting paid by Toyota and Honda or whatever, remember, this is not my personal data. This is data that I'm sharing from CarEdge, who analyzed millions of automotive data points from a variety of industry-leading data providers. The insights they shared represent the overall averages of the combined cost of vehicle ownership. For anyone that wants to look at the data more carefully or look at it for other vehicles that I didn't mention, which likely came somewhere in the middle in between, I'll put a link in the description below. And they also include useful data for car insurance, for fueling costs, and depreciation, which are all really important to consider as well, on top of maintenance and repairs. So after watching this video, which vehicle would you consider buying? Would it change your decision? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. You can also take a look at my other videos by clicking these links over here. Make sure to follow me on Instagram. And if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to visit carhelpcan.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.